Alright folks, we're back. During the break, networking skills put to the test when you have to use one-word description sentences to explain to somebody who doesn't speak English, hey, please sign up for our tournament later tonight. But, yeah, Zest was even a little bit, through the broken English, I learned he didn't like the ping on the European server, and that he is happy that this other tournament is on the Korean server. So we might just see him come back for Make Korea Great Again, which would be awesome. But we'll focus more on that later. We're still here for the Yord Woodwatch. Guys, it's why that thing's all blown up and all big. Make sure to check out woodwatches.com/base. I'm going to walk you guys through it in a second, too. We'll wait for videos to finish up. But I need to tweet first. Next up in the round of 8. Oh, it's actually liquid versus liquid. What do you know? That
Team
never
Go.
happens. This is like the... Is this the first time this has ever happened? Where two Team Liquid members have played against one another?
I think so. It's not nearly as common as the EG versus EG, curse. It happens all the time. Poor EG StarCraft.
What EG?
Yeah, that's the joke.
Alright. Where this thing is. Okay. Now that I got the tweet out, do me a favor, if you guys haven't already tweeted about today, go retweet about the event, but I'm going to screen region what the Woodwatches site looks like. And in fairness, there's going to be this really annoying ping sound. We've given them feedback on it so many times. They don't care. The ping comes from the customer support alert saying, like, we're here to help. But we've got this giant bar up. I think we're at 18 watches. Oh, hey, we sold 1 watch throughout the cast so far. Shout out to whoever that individual was. Let us know what watch you bought. But anyways, normally we try to fill this up to $1,000. Honestly, it was just going slow, and we hadn't done a lot of promotion for Yord, so we wanted to host a tournament for them, guys. So we took $450 out of here, and that's what the prize pool for this event will be. There we are. Go away. If you guys want to get 10% off your watch, that's fantastic. Because on top of getting 10% off your watch, using that code means that 15% of the sale will go towards future prizing with Yord. And we did ask that they keep this very transparent so people can see what's going on. There's no like question mark about shadiness, how much money's being made, how much isn't. Like clear as day, you can see $561 have been raised thanks to you guys who purchased watches. Plus, this isn't even like a hard sell. Straight up, these are really nice gifts. Like they're fancy, they're nice, they're elegant. Again, to show mine off a little bit on stream, what it looks like. They're just made of wood. It's awesome. They're very lightweight too. A lot of good things to say about these watches. But that being said, we do have a lobby up. I'm going to join off you.
Well, you almost said it was the wrong map.
Oh, so you're a crappy admin. Got it.
MaNa literally said echo first.
Meat Pop 13, thank you for the 9-month resub. Says, oh hi there, hello. Oh, and I didn't realize we got a donation at some point. Sir Zarkon donated $7.49. What an oddly specific amount. Says, thanks for casting. Well, thank you very much for donating. Lord ACM as well just resubbed for 18 months. Lord ACM, one of our mods too. Hope you've been doing well. Ugh. I will say the one part about suspenders, I love suspenders. I think they look cool. If you disagree, I don't care. But the one part about these I don't like is they do require you to wear pants. And this is probably the first cast I've done with pants in a considerably long time.
You'll make millions with the pantless suspenders.
The clip right into yelling underwear. Oh! Jansoon just messaged me. I totally forgot about this. This is a new thing Yord's doing too. You can get laser engraving on your stuff with Yord. If you've got questions about it, like what limits are, like Jansoon's in chat, real_Jansoon, he's modded, you can ask him questions. But yeah, so if you want to like write dick butt, your name, anything. I'm pretty sure, like, by the way, if you were to like laser engrave a meme, he might even give you another discount. I'm not 100% sure on this, but just maybe.
Test it out. Get your kappas.
That'd be great. Just like, I don't want a word, I want a picture. Do you guys do that?
Picture. And you can, when you're like really wanting to be just a little asshole, just take off your watch and hand it to him. Look at the back. Kappa.
It's got like little fingers. Anyways, we are getting into game. I'm not sure how to answer this question out of chat. Gujugik says, is BaseTradeTV legit? We're too legit. We're too legit to quit, all right? That's BaseTradeTV in a nutshell. But we got a brand new best of 3. Spawning in the top right side of the map, it's going to be the red Protoss player, Team Liquid's MaNa.
On the bottom left has the blue Terran. He's Liquid uThermal.
And again, I think this might just be the first time in history that 2 Team Liquid members have fought off in the round of 8. So make sure that you tell everybody this crazy news, this first happening. You'll never see it again.
Ever. Especially since there's no one on the team anymore. Literally just 2 people. Just kidding. How many people are on Team Liquid right now, actually? Snoop?
Well, I mean, are we talking about just the StarCraft
MaNa?
team? Because they do have a team in, like, literally every game.
Okay, buddy. Yeah, StarCraft. Snoot, TLO, uThermal, MaNa. I guess they have, like, their... What do you even call them, right? Like, retainer? Like, Bunny's still on Team Liquid, technically.
Yeah, well, I don't think Bunny's even, like, classified as retired. He's just focusing on school.
Right,
Although,
or should I say, like, retainer instead of retired? Like,
well,
they're just on some back-end bench.
as I was saying what I was saying just now, I also remember Thorzane was, quote-unquote, just focusing on school for a while, too.
Oh,
So,
womp womp.
perhaps rest in peace. I don't know.
Well,
Bly, hang on, I gotta give a shout out to this. Bly, Courteous Bly, I think knew that we may have wanted to cast him versus Stats. He does square off in the round of 8 as well, asking if they want us to hold the match. I said, nah, they can just go ahead. We got two semifinals and a finals after this. We'll get through as much of this as we can, but hell, if it was a really good series, maybe go back and grab the replays. Top side of the bracket, by the way, just as a bit of an announcement, Keen beat Major 2-0, which is actually quite surprising to me. Because, A, Keen to Europe is like whatever, but also Major's really good, so that's a bit surprising. A TvT specifically.
Maybe he sucks the new patch.
Man, I wish, actually, just looking at this round of 8, I wish we were casting every single match in the round of 8. I know it's not possible because it would just be unfair to players time-wise, but Keen versus Snoot, Billowy versus Nurchio, MaNa versus uThermal, and Bly versus Stats. That is an incredibly diverse round of 8 with really fantastic players.
Yeah, this is one of the best round of 8s not
I will
ever
say
seen,
not ever, but definitely in a long time I've seen.
Top 5.
All right, so uThermal's got a bunker up. MaNa, he could maybe try and put a pylon on the south side to break the depots if he wants to. The problem with putting the pylon here, and we've seen this a couple times now, is it doesn't actually reach the SCVs repairing on the backside.
Yeah. One of the times we actually regret kind of like talking about other things about the game, because this game is super interesting. I mean, MaNa going for a 1-base build is not totally uncharacteristic, but it is always fun to see it. And then of course uThermal, responding to it. I think he also was going for a bit of a... Did he go for a 1-base build? Well, his command center's still not done. He's a factory out, so kind of.
Oh, this was a full engineering bay too. This wasn't.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
I like that he does this too because it gives him the option to build a turret if he's worried about oracles on the other side of the map, which not happening, but won't either.
Yeah, uThermal's really well set up for this. I mean, I think these guys play each other a lot. For MaNa, like the 1-base is a lot more committed than the Terran 1-base usually ever is. You think about Terran 1-base, think about harassment and into expand, but of course MaNa proxying a robo, that's gonna be hard to get an expansion.
It's difficult too because tanks do such a large amount of damage now compared to what they used to. Beforehand, it was kind of laughable. They would tickle the shield, the barrier would absorb it all. It wouldn't even be close as far as a fight goes. Now, the Immortal's gonna get wrecked. There's 2 tanks up too. A bunker. I mean, this is a lot of work for MaNa just to get into the base in the first place.
Ideally, I think that he just hopes uThermal doesn't have a tank. Or 2 tanks, or 3 tanks, right? Like, he just hopes he's going for like a Widow Mine drop and anticipate what was happening.
I really love the idea of a potential Liberator going across the map. I mean, obviously he can use it at home too if he needs to, but the idea of this going across the map for counterattack damage while he turtles up.
Yeah, it's good turtle. It's he does not pushing forward too eagerly either. The tanks could go forward, but maybe they get sniped with an observer.
It's the one time a command center actually helps the wall off.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
It's not a full wall off, but it does create a choke now between the reactor and the bunker that wasn't there before.
Yeah. The observer is on the way out now to give it that high ground vision. Oh, I guess the warp prism could have also done that. Didn't see that coming into the back.
Yeah, he's got to be careful with how he responds to this. As he pulls the SCVs away, he's losing mining, of course, but he doesn't want to pull too much defense away from the front because he knows about the impending bust. As the Liberator flies across the map, I didn't realize the SCV had repaired this engineering bay back to almost full while this had gone on, so Mothership Core is going to be spending a very long time killing it.
I guess there's not much else for it to do.
Oh! I saw this
hey.
in the production tab. I didn't look at the menu. It didn't occur to me he was taking the gold over here, but uThermal just scouted that.
Gold. It's the offensive gold. So, you know.
It's the Protoss equivalent of manor muling, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, that too. But this is, okay, so the Stalker's going on to chase the Liberator definitely told uThermal he could defend his natural. So let's be careful, as the Immortals and Sentries are still a big deal, but he was careful about it, kept his tanks on the backside, and might even get a bit of SimCity on the front, if not a wall.
He does have a lot of Marines, which is nice too. I mean, not a lot in terms of like they're all in one spot, but he's got enough to buffer both sides of his army. Yeah,
and 4 tanks is like, considering you to make tanks so early. Let's say this game does go on and MaNa like even gets the benefit of a gold base. We would have like 8 tanks with a stim push. That'd be quite scary.
Well, the sentries block out the tanks from getting repaired. The Immortals come in, but they get wrecked. The Adepts are the only thing not getting blasted away, but even they're starting to die.
Yeah. I mean, tanks were a really excellent defense tool even before they got upgraded. So it makes sense that he's having a much easier time defending it now. And the turret comes in and actually take out a bit of the Warp Prism's shields, not quite reaching that health. But this has so far been an excellent game for uThermal. The defense against, you know, one base all in, and MaNa having to take a gold base like this is just, you know, all types of wonky.
I'm really truly curious, if you could give Terran players the choice before the game started, either you could still pick up medevacs, tanks and all that, or the new version, which would be the one to win out? Or would it vary from match to match?
It could vary match to match, and composition to composition.
Oh, the SCVs get pulled. He's getting a little bit desperate for this, but he should be able to clean this up. Warp Prism's going to go down. The Immortal dies. I mean, the SCVs will go back to mining, but uThermal still has another tank. He's still got more Marines. I guess MaNa's still producing 2, which is a fun point to point out, but that gold base, he knew it was taken. He's got to know it's mining.
I think uThermal was really hoping the Robo wasn't still producing Immortals.
Look how wonky the income graph is, by the way.
Or was just underestimating the power of Immortals. But I don't know if pushing out like that was actually a good deal. Like, he absolutely had to pull the SCVs to ensure that he took the best trade possible. Like, literally reset both of them to 0, because otherwise, his production is still very slow. It's a 1-1-1. He's only just not getting 4 more barracks. Whereas MaNa has always had decent production by being the one to kind of, you know, do this all in, right? Like gateways and a Robo, and more gateways that he made back at home.
Well, Stalkers will deal with the Liberator. It certainly helped mess up some of the mining. And again, go back to that income graph. It's dipping and jiving and spiking all over the place. The Immortal count still... It's questionable to me on its effectiveness. We just saw the tanks blow them away, but now we finally have extra production out of uThermal, not just the new barracks on the way, but the reactors finishing up, and where before he barely had enough fodder with the Marines, in the next 2 minutes, he should have more than enough. Marines are super cheap, super nice, super awesome.
Yeah, I also like they put a bunker down. I think there could have been, you know, a chance he doesn't need the bunker, but anything to soak up a couple more of those Immortal shots, or the tanks to 1 or 2 more shots, is very useful.
Well, Liberator managed to make it to the main, and can't kill it. There's like 5 shots and probes didn't die. Stalkers come in, it gets chaotic. Tanks are firing left and right, but they're shooting the Adepts. He starts focus firing down the Stalkers now, but the micro on MaNa's not too bad for this either. However, there just might not be enough. Flies over the bunker, Marines chasing it down. Warp Prism gonna die. Immortal's gonna follow suit, and MaNa does not kill uThermal. While this goes on, Liberator set up on this side, and 21 probes died. That gold base is picked clean. GG. uThermal takes game number 1.
The micro required there for both fronts was actually amazing. Like, the Warp Prism micro, the decision to attack like MaNa did, like, that was impressive as a Protoss. And Terran's side, of course, uThermal had to, like, repair his tanks, and that was still pretty cool. But I was just like, MaNa was really trying to... It was almost like, you know, and I'm gonna be like kind of cheesy, I guess, but like watching Brood War again, like trying to bust tank line, because that's what it was. Like, even though they're Marines, it was more about the tanks and trying to make sure they didn't do as much damage as possible. It was cool.
Well, we'll see what map number 2 has in store. Do we know what the map is already or no?
No.
Okay, we'll find out soon. Somebody apparently cheered 10 bits a little while ago, but it didn't give a name. Oh my god, it's Edward resub for 19 months. Says, it was your boy who bought the watch. Phil, Chris, Dark Sandalwood. Thank you so much. Oh my god, it's Edward, and I hope you enjoy the watch. Whether you're using it for yourself or giving it a gift to somebody else, they're really nice. I have a good news bad news situation with my watch. So because I actually really do count this as one of the fancier things I own. I don't wear it unless we're going to big events, right? I had forgotten it for BlizzCon, so the last time I think I'd worn this was earlier this year at like DreamHack Austin. I was also several pounds heavier back then too. So now when I wear this watch, I think it's like combination losing weight, but combination also when I got in the accident, I lost a lot of muscle in my arms that I'm still working back. This thing is really loose on me now. I'm gonna put this on to show you guys. Another part of why I'm not wearing it. It's just because it's so loose on me now. I think I need to lose one of the links. Well, this would be a good problem to have if this was like a belt size going down. Like, I don't want my arm, like, necessarily my arms getting smaller.
My wrists are getting skinny? This is bullshit.
Yeah. Gotta start doing some exercises more. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay, I shouldn't have done that on stream. Whirlwind is gonna be the second map. I know you can't see what I did, but I feel like you know
I imagine.
What I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, whenever uThermal's ready to go. Now, I was really hoping this would have been another map where we could have seen like the counter proxy. Like, obviously it's not happening anymore, but back in like Frozen Temple, that would have been the perfect revenge proxy situation for the Terran.
Revenge proxy. Yeah. uThermal could... No. No one does middle of the map proxies anymore. I kind of miss that though.
Right? I always... Anytime that gets brought up, I always actually think of DeMuslim, of all people, back when he qualified the WCS qualifiers by 2 racks.
Yes, that was amazing. Like, in the middle of Frost, exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Thank you, Chosen One, for the 25 cheers. Top left side of the map, it's going to be the Red Protoss, Team Liquid's MaNa.
In the bottom left has the blue Terran. He's Liquid uThermal.
Currently up 1 game in the series. Now, we did talk a little bit about the brackets last game, and I guess just the updates are Nurcio actually lost to Billowy, so Billowy will advance on the top side. Bottom side, of course, the winner of this will play Bly or Stats. And, of course, I'm hoping to see some Snoot action in the top side, but Keen getting through wouldn't be too bad either. But what everybody is playing for today is actually nothing too crazy. The top 2 people, both players who get to the finals, will be invited back to the event that has all the money involved. Yes, the money. However, the winner of that best of 3 will get a $200 code redeemable for the watch site, woodwatches.com. And a lot of the watches on the site are actually under $200, so the winner could get a free watch, or they can get a really nice watch for really, really cheap.
Yep. It's a good coupon to have. Kinda wish I had one.
There's a new series, by the way, for those who haven't checked them out. This is new to me. I didn't even know they had this until I was looking over it when we were talking about sponsoring this tournament. There's a new series called like the Frankie series out. I actually think those watches look super nice.
Wonder how much he really wanted that to be Frankers.
Jansoon, yeah. He's probably got like the super secret like off the book series. Like, you know when you order off the menu at a restaurant?
Oh, the hidden menu?
Yeah, can I get the Frankers watch, please?
Yeah.
It looks really nice. It was like laser engraved with a dog.
Just so cute, you know, for kids, this fancy wood watch with a dog on it.
Well, apparently Smokey Bandit just picked out a Fieldcrest Sandalwood. Very nice, sir.
Oh,
I
nice.
hope you enjoy it.
I like sandalwood, I guess.
Yeah. Again, I really want to emphasize, well, you guys may not even buy a watch right now. Like, we don't expect you guys to, but we want you to be looking at these and thinking about them for possibly Christmas gifts, all that good stuff. Make sure you go to woodwatches.com /base, excuse me, because this is where you'll get the 10% code for discount pricing. Don't pay full price for the watches, guys. Plus, it's almost like a little bit more than 10% too, because okay, you save 10% on your end, but 15% of the sale will go towards the tournament. So it's as if you had donated that money to BaseTradeTV at the same time. It's like 2 for 1.
Well, in this game we do have a 1-base Stargate, but it was followed up immediately by a Nexus, so not nearly as interesting and dynamic. And of course, uThermal going for the typical Widow Mine drop, command center. It doesn't have to worry about being attacked, I suppose. Again, we're talking about 4-player maps, not much chance for a proxy robo.
Well, the what am I drop I think is also like I'm not surprised to have this be the choice on a 4-player map. It's like the safest build in terms of like you might have something to stop an early proxy, but also you get scouting, maybe a bit of damage.
Yeah. The only concern, of course, is that when you pick up all your Widow Mines, there is that timing that can exist where the Oracle swoops in as soon as you leave your base, and it just it's damage you didn't expect to take, basically, even if it's not devastating.
Oh, by the way, I did not look at the bets for this series until just now. While the Oracle comes across the map, MaNa has 3,900 Bartoufs bet on him. And uThermal's sitting at about 7,000.
Okay, I understand that. Even after watching MaNa kills us.
Yeah. You take on one of the greatest Korean players of all time, but not uThermal.
It is so funny that we can say that, I guess, now, and not be as mean about it. Like, you know, I think you say that like 2 years ago, and you're like, wow, it must have been something, right? But now it's like, no, I feel it makes sense. uThermal's such a different player than a lot of other Koreans. Like, he's aggressive, which is usually a trait of the Koreans. That's not so different, but just the way he's aggressive.
I mean, while we kind of are almost like jokingly hyping up the whole killing Zest thing, a lot of these guys are pretty aware how bad it is playing cross server. You know, when Tilo beat Alive in the Corsair Cup, we had him on for that post-stream interview. It was fun, but he also said, like, I'm fully aware, like, you know, this is beating a live cross server, so how much is that really worth? Same with MaNa beating Zest. Zest complained about the ping. MaNa knew he was going to complain about the ping. He said it before, like, game 2 even started. It's totally, these guys, they know how it works. They know the system at this point. uThermal's going to get a full unload in the main. While this might seem good at first, does he have enough back at home? The bunker's not done. MaNa's got a proxy pylon down. He's got adepts outside the door, knocking and waiting.
Yeah. Well, if uThermal was the type of player, and not many Terrans do this, by the way, so it'd be rare to find this type of player, to just go on for the add-ons to swap your barracks over, he would probably just straight up die to this counterattack. But he does go for like the tank and the wall and the bunker, so maybe he can hold. He's still gonna take damage because the Phoenix came around. Liberator's no longer the easy peasy answer that he usually is.
Well, it's getting repaired like a mother trucker right now.
Okay. So close to actually repairing that.
There was,
but does deal with it.
There was some serious awkwardness with the tank too, and that wasn't uThermal miscontrolling anything. He did not want the Phoenix lifting it up and taking it out of the fight. So I really like that precision to pull it back, even though it did look a little bit awkward. Other side of the map, honestly, not the craziest amount of counterattack damage done. You know, the Widow Mines were dealt with pretty quickly. There's still one, so maybe he's not looking, maybe he is.
Yeah.
But workers killed on both fronts are not that high, like 7 and 8 workers apiece.
Well, MaNa, unfortunately, is falling behind just because mules, first of all, though uThermal hasn't muled in a while. But also that he wanted to get a third base, like, really soon, if not had already started the third base. Ooh. But he really wanted to try that attack.
uThermal, move those SCVs.
Why is he... Is he afraid of a DT follow-up? He's actually holding on to so much energy. There we go. I can understand one base having 100 energy, because, like, one for scan, emergencies, one for the mule, but... both of them did.
Yeah, I actually think part of the not dropping mules too is he didn't know if they'd die. I mean, the adepts were transferring around and being really.
That's
really
a good
annoying.
point. Yeah, and look, what's the point of like being only on main base? It's super oversaturated. Well, the attack from uThermal is with a lot of really key units, and they're gonna have enough fodder to protect them too. So it is a scary push, even if it doesn't have stim.
Yeah, I mean, the Liberator is certainly one aspect of this. Phoenixes should be able to deal with it pretty easily. The question really comes down to the tanks. You can't really leapfrog these forward the way uThermal wants to, because the Phoenixes always may swoop in from behind to pick them up. That's a big part of the scan and seeing what's ahead. Adept's going to transfer on in. I think he should be okay. There's a lot of Marines to cover this, honestly.
Yeah. Adept transfer may not have been the worst, since they got on top of 2 of the tanks, but there was a third one reinforcing. So it's questionable. Plus, I feel as long as you have the time and you feel like your production's eventually going to catch up, you don't have to commit to this, but actually MaNa does with the second Adept run in. Phoenix has come back a little bit late, but still enough to clean everything up.
Yeah, and the Marine side too quickly, they were trying to pick off the Phoenixes to release the tanks, but the tanks come released a little too late, a little too slow, and MaNa actually breaks the attack.
Nice.
He breaks it like over his knee. That was real bad for uThermal.
It was, but it wasn't so devastating as having any army supply. A little bit more here at the medevac.
Losing that medevac's gonna really suck.
Defensive tank, and I think Did uThermal see that third base timing? He did, yeah. Seeing the third base like timed out like that, if it was already done and saturated, like uThermal knows he's in trouble. But again, if he just defends, doesn't die to this attack, he should be able to recover. And he's finally got his upgrades on his way too. But
Well,
maybe
he
he can't
left the
defend.
tank, so I don't know about this defense. He does set up a Liberator and get a couple of probe kills while this was going on, but that Liberator is not gonna solo down an entire
Oh,
base.
the Master Pair.
My god.
Oh my good god.
It's
Oh my
barely
good
keeping
god.
that tank alive. Seriously, dipping
Good
down to
Jesus.
like single digits there twice.
That just like saved so many SCVs.
It did. I mean,
Good
that was... Not only was the tank soaking the damage so they weren't shooting the SCVs, but the fact is that they kept the tank alive. Now it's here to shoot anything else that would have come in. But there's nothing else coming in, so uThermal holds. Problem is, though, is SCV count funny enough, like just objectively is low? It's not bad considering the 2-base situation he's on, but that's the problem right there. It's a 2-base situation. He needs to get that third CC over ASAP. MaNa's mining off of his third, fully saturated.
What's funny is he might be able to take the third and take a fourth, like not too shortly after. Rowan, in these positions, I think you're gonna be pretty safe taking that like base off to the far right, because proxy pylons aren't as nearly devastating as they used to be, and there's been no warp prisms yet, so you might just gonna be hoping there won't be too many warp prisms.
Double Robo coming up, so we might just see something to that effect. Big shout out to Beastie. Thank you for the host, man. Hope you had a good stream, and hello to all of his viewers. You're tuning in just in time for the round of 8 here in the Your Would Watch tournament, or the Would You Watch This tournament.
Excellent.
Yeah, I came up with
got
it all
to,
on my own.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think everyone do that. The pun master, after all. I get to like, I like to call it like to it someone, because when you like ask people if they read the book It, you say if you read It, and they're like, what? You know? I got to do that with the tournament name today. Someone was like, what tournament? And I was like, would you watch this? And they were like, well, what's the name of the tournament? Like, tell me before I watch it.
It's like, do you know how to spell Mississippi?
No?
No, you're supposed to say yes, and then you like spell it, and then you're like MISSISSIPPI. You're like, no, dummy, it's IT.
Can you spell?
You spell it?
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, okay. You.
Man,
that's
I
why
feel
couldn't
like there's
fall
so
into
many
the
great
trap.
things I could just.
This is why I shut it down early, because I know I'm gonna fall for it.
Yeah.
Oh well.
That's the
So
thing. A lot of people
interest-
think that Zombie Girl is just like being snooty because she's better than me. She's just like wary, is what it is.
Yeah, no, like absolutely, I'm wary, and I'm also like totally afraid of just letting people know how dumb I am. Because you know everyone judges me off of trick questions. One time on stream, so I didn't know this trick question. It was the worst. Anyway, the drop in the main base gets a couple of pylons. I was more interested in MaNa going for the double immortals off the bat. I really like that he does that instead of just going straight to Colossus. A, I think he knew he had the time, and B, I think immortals added in are just beautiful. So whether it's first or after for Colossus, I guess is really like where you think you are in the game, and he thought he could get it. And 2 Colossus are on the way now, and uThermal, like, he doesn't have quite of a response to it, and so far it looks like his response is just going to be Mass Liberator, which, funnily enough, was like the first comeback of the Colossus was against these Liberator range Terrans on like Dusk Towers.
Yeah.
So
I mean, first off, just again, for those who don't know, they're talking about buffing the Colossus, and it's going to be like really disgusting. But that aside for a moment, I do love that regardless of what the matchup was, is, or should be, it didn't just like, okay, Colossus right now in the current patch, yeah, they're still fine, they're acceptable, they're good. And even if they get better in the next coming patch, I love that Vikings have really had a big like revival of a unit here. So in the current patch of the game, obviously it's not such a big deal. They're in the air, they're still the exact same, but when they land, they become so good.
yeah. This is a bit too big of a drop to take on, especially since uThermal is actually rocking the upgrades. He's going to have 2-2 over 1-1?
Well, 1-0 for a little bit.
Yeah, for like a couple seconds, but yeah, it's regardless like a really good upgrade advantage. And he does do this little Liberator trick. There's not a lot to come with Liberator, so it's not as potent as it could be. But
I always like
the
it.
idea.
I always like to look at it like it's like securing the landing zone. Sounds cooler that way too.
Yeah, that's true.
Quadruple medevacs not finding an army to fight. They could go to that fourth again. He scans it, sees the army still sitting, so he doesn't want to fight the Colossus.
He could. Being protected by the Immortals, maybe he couldn't, but I was gonna say maybe a good concave. Now this drop is cleaned up. The Wood Mine's really close to getting a good, really good. No, is he paying attention? He wasn't.
It takes a
Damn.
pretty nasty hit. Not a lot of kills, but quite a bit of damage actually. A lot of these units not half health or less.
Damn. Pretty even army supplies. Again, those upgrades are really good looking for uThermal. And of course, he's gonna have a lot of liberators too, but he might be at risk of losing his army supply with drops like this. Because right now it's a good army supply, but just like, you know, one bad blink in and suddenly like all those medevacs are gone.
Uh-oh.
Oh, pause. Minimap is stuck. What?
In the top right? What? He's streaming, right? I gotta go to his stream and look at this.
Is it like...
Like, did his mini-map move? Or is his camera just stuck in the top right? His camera's stuck in the top right, okay. I was like, did the mini-map physically move? Like, how is that possible?
That's weird.
That may explain why I took a bad Woodmine hit too. Of course, for those who don't know, MaNa is streaming his matches with no delay, so we are using a tournament delay on our end. Of course, again, just that reminder: watch MaNa, do it. I encourage you, please do, but just don't bring spoilers back to BaseTradeTV. So this Nexus is going to get sniped. Not a lot MaNa can do about it. He's tentative with the army. We saw that. Observers above the Widow Mines. This main base still being a problem, and MaNa's just going to go for the attack instead, saying, screw it, I'm going to just cut my losses and do some counterattack.
Oh, that's such a dangerous move to do. Like, uThermal still has a 40 army supply lead, so there's going to be a fairly large army back at home.
Liberators.
Yeah, so this won't be as simple as like a pure base trade. It will be about a defensive setup against an attacking Protoss. I mean, it's a good army. Oh, not if he kills all the stalkers though.
He does take out the Liberators as a bit of a consolation, I suppose, but
that's pretty tough now though, and no warpers in the help.
Yeah, I think actually if it comes to a race anyways, MaNa's gonna lose just because then we can lift up his buildings.
Yeah, that's always the trick, isn't it? Yeah, just a couple of Liberators, and MaNa can't do anything.
No, he's actually dying. Colossus goes down, second one goes down, GG. uThermal takes the series 2-0 and moves on to the semifinals. Whoops, nope, that's the commercial break screen. We don't want that. I mean, we're going to go to it in a moment, but press the wrong button. So congratulations to uThermal. He'll advance on. We'll be casting both of the semifinals. It'll just be determined by which one is available first is the one we'll go to. So I know Billowy was waiting on the top side. Looks like he's got Snoot ready to play. So we'll probably do Billowy versus Snoot ZVP, then uThermal versus his opponent afterwards. This at this point could still be a ZVZ finals, but as long as it's not, I'm happy. So thank you guys for watching. Each of these next best of threes as well is a qualifying series. Each of these will determine who comes back invited to the main event later. So a little bit more emphasis on the follow-up games. But thanks for watching. We'll be back in a couple of moments.